everyone. I'm Alexandra Mayers of alexandramayerslive.com, and welcome to what will likely be one of the final porn news alerts for at least a little while. Now, today I want to explain how two Pornstar Escort Agencies, one by the name of The Luxury Companion and another by the name of Help You Book Her, have managed to become legal business entities. I know a lot of you might be sitting there thinking, now wait a minute, I thought the only way that prostitution or escorting was legal in the United States was within certain counties of Nevada. Primarily Dennis Hoff's legal brothels, because he basically has a monopoly on that particular industry. But there's a little bit of a loophole that has been exploited recently, and already being a Pornstar Escort Agency is a very light shade of gray when it comes to the shady, tawdry arena of being an escort or a private sex worker to begin with, at least in the illegal vicinities of America. A lot of law enforcement, they turn a blind eye to it. Should they not? Not for me to judge. I'm just here to deliver some of this information to you. But what's occurred as of recent is that you've had some attorneys on behalf of these escort agencies file trademarks for them. And if you look at the particular paperwork for the Luxury Companion's trademark and Help You Book Her's trademark, those two entities, which to the general public via online venues are very well known as being Pornstar Escort Agencies, are not listed officially as Pornstar Escort Agencies. It's very, very interesting. And one of the attorneys that is involved is a Los Angeles-based attorney by the name of James Felton. So I'm just going to go through this little by little. I want to keep this video short and sweet, but anyone can do what these Pornstar Escort Agencies are doing. It's very simple, but if you were to attempt it, my advice is, if you're going to attempt it, don't be black. Okay? I'm serious when I say that. If you are a black person who's going to attempt this, make sure that you have a sparkling, clean background. And if you don't, I highly suggest that you find someone else of perhaps a lighter shade of color or a white front to move forward with what I'm going to explain to you. Alright, now first off, a lot of you know that I've become a legal buff over the past few years due to some legal situations that I've had to deal with. So I really did research some of everything that I'm going to explain to you, and I do have to say, don't do this, but this is how they're doing it. First off, you get your website domain for whatever your Pornstar Escort Agency is going to be. Let's say you wanted to have something like, I don't know, supersexygirls.com, right? You would register that domain. And you would, have your little phones and everything. And you start booking the girls with whoever calls. But another thing that you would want to do is make this particular domain that you purchased extremely well trafficked and well known online. So how do you go about doing that? You advertise on something like the Erotic Review. Everyone knows what that is who is familiar with the adult entertainment industry. But after you allow that domain to matriculate within the Google search engines, and more and more people start writing reviews about the escorts and whatnot that are featured on your supersexygirls.com or whatever domain it is that you have, After that's happened for a while, I would give it like 1 or 2 years. That seems to be what the pattern is of the people who are doing this shit. At that point, that's when you need to register that domain, or at least the name of that domain, as an LLC. All right? It's also probably a good idea to use something like a UPS box as the address. Now, after you do that, that's when you find an attorney to apply for this trademark, or maybe you could figure out how to do it yourself, because truthfully, it's really not hard to do. But when you do apply for the trademark, what you're going to want to do is figure out exactly what sort of business your Pornstar Escort Agency is going to magically transform into. Now, what the Luxury Companion did, they classified their business as transport, packaging and storage of goods, and travel arrangement. I find that very interesting because technically, every porn star that's listed on the Luxury Companion website right now is an independent contractor who is transporting goods to the johns or the clients that they see, and perhaps they're also assisting with their clients' travel arrangements. Seriously. So they're travel agents. Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, you could almost do this in reverse, to where you set up a travel agency and you only hire porn stars who perhaps in the past or the present also have worked privately as sex workers. And it seems to me like a lot of people in law enforcement would turn a blind eye. And I do believe that a reason that our government and law enforcement is turning a blind eye to this right now has to do with our current political leadership, if you want to even call it leadership, and their the fact that they're sympathizing with the neo-Nazis, because there is a very heavy neo-Nazi presence within the Los Angeles porn industry. And rather than these neo-Nazi operations funding themselves via drug sales, I believe that they are funding their operations through prostitution rings. Not saying that the Luxury Companion has anything to do with that. Not saying Help You Book Her has anything to do with that, even though they're actually more likely to be linked to neo-Nazis when I really sit here and think about it, considering who's behind that operation. But whatever. So anyway, as of February 21st, 2017, attorney James R. Felton of Los Angeles managed to magically transform the Luxury Companion into a legitimate trademarked business entity. Yes, he did, as of February 21st, 2017. But like I said, Luxury Companion, they are not the only ones. No. You also got Help You Book Her. Help You Book Her, they did it too. I'm not sure which entity did it first, but let's see. According to Justia.com, Help You Book Her has had their trademark in place since March 26th of 2017 under the LLC company of DGR LLC. Now, the way that Justia has their information compiled, it's not as clear as the Luxury Companions in regards to exactly what their business is. But what I did see here is that they're attempting to pass off their business and maybe this is really what they're doing at Help You Booker, but they're doing advertising, business management, business administration, office functions. So I guess all the Pornstar escorts who are listed on Help You Booker are what? Office assistants? Secretaries? That actually is a really good cover if you're running around selling your body to God knows who. But yeah. It doesn't. I wasn't able to find exactly what attorney helped Help You Booker get this done, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter, because I did want to share a little bit about James Felton. Here he is. James R. Felton. I've actually heard from James R. Felton a total of 3 times in the past in regards to 2 particular porn stars. One who, at least the last time I checked, she was being sued by LA Direct Models. And the particular porn stars that I'm referring to are Trinity St. Clair and Alex Chance. I initially heard from James R. Felton in regards to Alex Chance because of a blog post that he felt Alex Chance wasn't very happy about. And then later I heard from James R. Felton in regards to Trinity St. Clair. But then magically, James R. Felton contacts me again after he sent me what I would consider to be a pretty strongly worded legal letter saying, never mind, I didn't have all the information. Forget that I even contacted you. So I don't really have anything bad to say about James R. Felton, but you know, everyone likes to say that the Luxury Companion is backed by LA Direct Models, but I don't really think that's true, because when I went on justia.com and I looked to see, okay, let's see if LA Direct Models has a trademark. At one point in time, they did. But that trademark expired as of, from what I could find, February 14th, 2008. I wasn't able to find what attorney or anything had anything to do with their trademark, but they registered their business as being advertising, business management, business administration, and office functions. Is that accurate for a porn star agency? I'm not sure, but being that their trademark is not currently in place, it's a null and void and doesn't even matter. Isn't that funny? So, you know, when you do think to yourself, who's behind the Luxury Companion? I think you actually need to think about this guy rather than Derek Hay. Because Derek Hay of LA Direct Models does not even have a trademark. From what I could find, James R. Felton had nothing to do with LA Direct Models registering of that trademark. And the only attorney's name who I see linked to the Luxury Companion is who? James R. Felton. So anyway, let's learn a little bit about James R. Felton. All right, here's what he says about himself, or someone says about him, on the website for Greenberg and Bass. That's the law firm that he's a part of. James R. Felton is managing partner of Greenberg and Bass, LLP. Mr. Felton practices in the areas of business, commercial, and real estate litigation, alternative dispute resolution, and insolvency-related matters. Seems like he should have mentioned on here somewhere about Pornstar Escorts, but you know. He routinely handles business dissolution matters, shareholder, partner, and guarantor disputes, breach of contract matters, asset recovery issues, and collections related to structured settlement payments. Mr. Felton is also experienced in healthcare and administrative law and appellate matters. Mr. Felton was selected to Super Lawyers from 2009 to 2016 for his work in the area of business litigation. And it goes on and on. Let's see, where did he go to school? Well, he has a bachelor's magna cum laude with high honors from Brandeis University. He went to JD University of California in Los Angeles. Let's see. Well, he's been busy. He has been busy. So, I guess really that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else I really need to mention. Well, you know what? I think that there is one more thing I have to mention. There is. And the only reason that I even am going to mention it is because the unmistakable face of the individual behind the lawsuit that I dealt with, I just happened to see it at the top of a fairly recent XBiz magazine, and I was looking at it and I'm like, that guy's face is freaking everywhere. Why is he on the cover of this particular month of XBiz? So what do? I look inside the XBiz magazine, and it seems that he's being celebrated by XBiz because he wrote a fairly interesting piece about a rock band called the Slants Victory in Court Secures Your Rights. And I'm thinking to myself, who cares about a rock band called the Slants having a victory in court, and what kind of rights have they even secured? Well, this particular victory that this particular Asian rock band secured in court goes back to what I was discussing earlier in this video. Trademark litigation. I'm just going to read a paragraph from this particular article. On Monday, the Supreme Court agreed that the use of Section 2A is unconstitutional. Justice Samuel Alito, who wrote the opinion, could not have made it clearer. Quote, "We now hold that this provision violates the free speech clause of the First Amendment. It offends a bedrock First Amendment principle. Speech may not be banned on the ground that it expresses ideas that offend." End quote. This decision could also wipe out the Redskins' decision, effectively ending that team's need to continue its appeal. The Redskins are involved in a similar case, where they lost a long registered trademark because the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia held that the Redskins' name disparages Native Americans. The Supreme Court has made an inspiring decision in the Slants case in that it protects all of our rights, not just the rights of an eminently likable rock band and a somewhat less than beloved football team. So just to kind of summarize what the jerk decided to write, trademark law is how escort agencies featuring porn stars and perhaps escort agencies featuring non-porn stars in the future are going to be able to get away with whatever it is that they're doing. Not to say that what they're doing is bad. It's all, is in, depends on your perspective. But just because you have an advertising firm or a travel agency called the Luxury Companion, which happens to have independent contractors who just happened to have once upon a time worked as porn stars, doesn't mean that you can be shut down by the government. Just because the name, the Luxury Companion, might seem offensive to many people because that particular domain name and name has been associated with pornstar escorts for a very, very, very long time, as the erotic review reflects. But just because some people might find that offensive doesn't mean that they can't be a legitimate business entity. So I guess if somebody wanted to just start an escort agency called "These Girls Are Gonna Fuck the Shit Out of You," but then register that phrase as a domain, and then trademark it and classify it as an advertising agency, I guess they'd be just fine. Of course, all the people who are independent contractors for their advertising agency, I'm sure, would be moonlighting as sex workers or ex-sex workers or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sex workers on the job. And unless you could prove it, it just doesn't matter. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all found it educational. I swear, I think a lot of our legislation is just a joke.